other side. Probably closer to about 5'7", 5'8". Wang Manyu of China will start this off with the serves. Well, that's going to happen every once in a while, but it just happened on the first point. This is really the threat that Mima Ito brings to the table.
Very similar feeling to the men's semi-final between China and Japan. Mima Ito is basically the equivalent of Tomokazu Harimoto. Well,
she's sure hoping to be. Harimoto taking 2 matches against Team China. The women of Japan are going to be counting on Mima-chan to do what she can. 2 in a row. Now, talk to us again about the equipment. I don't think we remind them about Mima-chan's short pit backhand and what it means.
It means she can come through flatter on balls that you may not think can be hit so hard. She'll be looking to bias it, especially on the receiving. In the open rally, she's going to switch Wang Manyu around. She's a very, very subtle and tricky server as well, Mima-chan.
Cracking forehand, both corners. So much racket speed. Again, physically, I mean, she's not the biggest, no question about it in terms of height. But even physically, you look at her and you're not just like this person's muscle from head to toe, but she's so fast and fluid in these shots.
Yeah. I think she's got the tactic spot on so far with the serve and third ball combinations. I remember watching her as a youngster. She'd always have that notepad in the corner, right? I don't see it so much now, but very, very keen student of the game, Mima Ito.
That's because it's in the corner. That's why you can't see it now.
Don't do it to me.
Okay. This is a tradition with the Japanese women. Aiki Kuhara, done the same before. These notebooks, what's inside? But yeah, the notebook, that was the great mystery. That's a tough place to win a point from. Shusuke Togami, Tomokazu Harimoto there just as well. You could see the entire men's team.
Great pickup of the half long, and looked like that was Wang Manyu's point, but interestingly, she went for another slow spin into the backhand. Looked like the right forehand of Mima was exposed.
Yeah, well played by Mima-chan to get that backhand punch, to come down on it, even from a step behind the table. That's definitely not her comfort zone.
The first 2 balls to Mima were perfect there. Wang Manyu did so well to recover. But getting her long, fast surprise serving and then dinking it short was very good. Just couldn't put the icing on the cake. Wang Manyu, the eel, as she's known by many fans, adoringly due to her physique, has great reach.
Just to jump on that real quickly, while physique might be a part of it in theory, it's her name, Manyu. Actually is the word for eel with different tones.
Interesting.
So I think she's Manyu, and eel is Manyu. So a little play on words from the fans here.
A few Manchester United fans might quite like Wang Manyu as well.
I can imagine that. 4 points apiece now, they're tied up. Nice change of pace here from Mima Ito behind the table. Perfect shot. Again, wingspan, there is no shortage on Wang Manyu's side, but Mima Ito still delivers a very impressive shot to that deep corner. Scoreline right now, this first game, how important is this first game in the best of 5?
So important. I mean, it swings and roundabouts, right? It takes less time to get to the 3 games, but it also takes less time for your opponent to come back. Against China, though, you want to carry that momentum into the second game.
perfectly played. She was behind the table. Again, the farther back Mima Ito gets, the tougher it's going to be for her to win the point. Every step of hers is about a half step of that of Wang Manyu. But as soon as she recognizes that she can put the pressure on, she moves back into the table to recapture that valuable real estate. I think you and I have both witnessed this, but Mima Ito had some very impressive wins over Chinese women over the years, and as she pulls out a tomahawk serve here and has a good score line, it feels like it's been quite some time since she's taken down the big names of China.
I think it was a big disheartening loss in the semi-finals, although she was expected to lose to Xia. It was quite one-sided, right? And I think that
at the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was game number 1, had a big lead, and after that, Sunying Xia turned on the afterburners, never looked back.
Exactly when we talk about Chinese putting a player under a microscope and finding every single way to beat them. It happened to Miu Harana when she won the Asian Championships. Could barely get a win against the top 4 Chinese after that.
After 2017, not too much of the hurricane. We saw Xiao Zhan, the coach, personal coach for Wang Manyu in the crowd. Coach of the world champion. 2 world championships in a row, actually, now. Sorry about that. Coach before was Ma Lin for Liu Shiwen. But look at this string of points now from Wang Manyu.
Yeah, we only see the hurricane now really on the forehand or backhand of Chinese players' rubbers.
Nice, I like it.
Mima at least has the serves now. She's seen a couple of timeouts called in game 1. Doesn't look like it's too much towards the business end yet, although it is getting there.
And when a lob comes down against a smaller player, I mean, that was baseline. I'll be curious to see, I mean, Mima's feet had to have come off the ground to stay on top of this. Good pressure to the backhand. Yeah. Left up in the air. I mean, that is so challenging. Even if you're Wang Manyu's height, that's not an easy ball.
Not at all. For all the good mechanics of a lob. Deep, high, spinny.
Did you say not at all?
Oh, no.
Little play on words there.
Love it, love it.
Here we go. 1-point lead here for Mima-chan.
Another tasty serve. That's the thing about coming around the side of the ball with the shovel serve. It's less obvious whether you're imparting backspin, topspin, or float coming around the side. Whereas if you just come under the ball, quite obvious that it's backspin, unless you contact the ball quite centrally to the racket. The more central you hit the ball with the bat, the less spin you generate. Ooh. Is that a yellow for time wasting there?
Sure seems that way. Interesting. You can understand in some senses at the top level of the women's game, you see a lot of time taken between points because having a clear game plan from the start of every point is so important. Facial expression there from Mima-chan, quite interesting.
More understandable given the situation and occasion.
Two big points in a row, but the exchange here much more testing. Wang Manyu showing how strong she can be despite the power, speed, and placement coming in this rally.
Did so well, and speaking of coming in, that was slowed down by Ito, but the weight transfer from Wang Manyu threw that ball from right leg to leading left leg. Phenomenal technique. And the world champion.
So 9 points apiece now. Still game 1. This is the one Japan's counting on. But behind the table, Mima-chan with the spin shot goes long, and it's Wang Manyu with what, a 3-point streak now? She earns herself a game point here in the first. Serve with Mima Ito. Players back to the table for game number 2. Despite having a lead at the business end of game number 1, Mima's down 0-1 right now. Interesting, a variety of side spins in this rally.
I was about to say, Adam, how it hasn't seen a strawberry or a fanning backhand yet, but there we go.
Although to get the 9 points she got in game number 1, they were mostly aggressive shots, as they tend to be. Beautiful angle here, one quickly into the body and then out wide. The only defensive player on the Japanese team, Hitomi Sato, quick on her feet alongside Japanese coach Takehiro Watanabe. It's interesting, we have some new coaching staff after the Olympic Games. There tends to be a bit of a rotation sometimes within different teams.
Seen a lot of teams regenerate, like Doctor Who. Shed their skin like snakes, and you see new players here playing for their teams. Some kind of generational reset.
On top of the bounce, this timing is outstanding, and still she plays it to the riskier side of the table, the short side, where there's less margin for error. This time, guess who was there for the wide cross court to follow. Wang Manyu covering her ground quickly, staying in position, protecting her side. So split here at 2 points apiece. See what she pulls out of the serve bag. Hey, fanning backhand time.
Players that have been able to challenge the Chinese over history. The players that have been able to do something slightly different, change the pace of balls very well. That's why the Swedes, especially in the men's game, that have challenged the Chinese men. They know how to jam you up, and they're very flary and can throw in something a little bit different.
Yeah, when I think of individual wins, definitely the case here. Wang Manyu, the digital, the whole laptop being held by elbows. That's funny. It's plugged into a wall still. Can you imagine? Flat hit just long. So out of the first towel break, towel breaks come up every 6 points. They're optional for the players. Nothing between these two. Quick punch off those short picks on the backhand. Mima punch. If you like table tennis terminology and you want to impress your friends, let them know you're in the know. You've got the Mima punch on the backhand side. Mima smash on the forehand. Those are the flatter shots with less spin. Super speedy. Mima smash finds the net and jumps out. But fully committed shot, really.
You can really feel how much the players are trying to put into their touch and push games when the rackets make contact with the table surface. The amount of quality they're trying to impart on the ball.
Outstanding point. The recoveries in this, the seesaw back and forth. I mean, we had our breath held from early on, and Mima gets right back in it. Smacked back into the backside. Punched back in. Really some give and take out here. But the suspense and the thrills in this point are why we love watching. It's funny, you mentioned the point before when they hit the top of the table with the racket. The amount of effort being put into the quality and the spin on the shots. For those of you newer to table tennis, it's not illegal if your racket hits the table, nor the hand holding it touches the surface of the table. Hey, you don't hear too many yoles, choles, or much like that from Mima-chan.
Been hearing a lot of the Japanese bench shouting the first names of the players, actually, especially in the group stage and knockout rounds. They're not doing it so much in the final, interestingly.
That is interesting. Tight serve here, well placed. With Wang Manyu waiting in position on the other side, it's always tough to know where to go.
Just has so much Manyu on her menu.
I like it. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Beautiful step around. Wang Manyu getting low and into position here, commits to the forehand. A level of play. This is just to tie it up. A little bit lukewarm there, the opening spin off the backhand of Mima Ito. Remember, she's down 0-1 in games. And overall, Japan is down 0-1 in matches to Team China right now, the women's team final.
Wow. Incredible play. It's interesting how they're both going for the hook service flow. Sometimes they both want the rally. Both favour themselves. That one there was nice for me. So another fanning backhand. And then the punch.
Yeah, it's interesting when you hear the word float from us up here. Less rotation on it, less spin. Players can generate an incredible amount of spin on the serve, but they're able to do just the opposite to keep the opponent guessing. More spin this time around, and it's Wang Manyu who opens up to the point. They go back and forth here in this pivotal game two.
These situations that the Chinese thrive under. You almost think to yourself if you have a lead against them, I'm about to see another gear. Easy to think about the finish line, what it means to take a game off one of the world's best. You've got to stay present until the ball's at the back of the barrier and you've won the game.
Not a very big middle on Mima Ito's side, but if it was ever to be found, I think Wang Manyu might have just found it. Shot comes in, right back. Not much hesitation on Mima-chan's side. She pulls the elbow back to play the forehand from the middle, but a lot of pressure. 1 point lead here for Wang Manyu. Smart placement on top of the bounce, heavy topspin. Short stroke, too.
Comes over it with more of a counter really than a slap, right? She recognised how much spin was on the ball.
Yeah, adjusts well to the spin. Just taking a moment here for the touchpad. Well, they've both had yellow cards? I saw 2 out there. That's interesting.
I didn't notice Mima's there.
Neither did I. Oh, look how gentle she is. I love it.
No animal cruelty here on the table.
100%. To Wang Manyu.
Live. You're going to ask how to read the serve of Mima Ito. That fly would have been able to tell you better than anybody.
There it is. Second yellow card. Don't know where it came from exactly, but we'll update you as soon as we do. Tomahawk serve with the kick, that second bounce. The heavy top and side spin. I think a big part of it is at this level, they keep it very deceptive, but there's more side spin than anything, so it's just a subtle variation, tougher to read.
Pressure and will have 2 serves. I'm just admiring the serve there, coming out of the closest into the palm of Mima Ito's hand, revealing like the central petal of a blossoming flower. Wang Manyu, solid as ever towards the end game situation.
So now the serve's back with Wang Manyu, the last 2 serve combination in this game. Quick punch, Mima punch comes out to play and ends the party. A little bit of rain on the parade. Well, the game's not over yet, but it's 1 point in the right direction. And game point to Mima Ito. The pressure, the step around, full commitment. Mima Ito, but not a ton. They've been back and forth throughout. 20 points apiece. These two are dead even in points and games. It's Wang Manyu to start it off with the serves.
That game two was instrumental for Mima Ito. She nearly blew the lead that she had, and having to sweep two cobwebs of that size under the carpet after having the lead in game one would have been very, very tough mentally.
So fast. Really, if we had a radar on that, I just can't believe how much weight transfer and how fast she gets the racket going to hit this follow-up attack.
And the speed that she pivots and turns her shoulders, it's almost like she's played another backhand, how quick it comes at you, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same dwell time on the backhand as someone who uses smooth rubber, Mima Ito.
This one gets away a little bit though. Earns herself a good opportunity. Always finding a way to smile through, keeping it positive. It is part of the history of the Japanese women's team. Just to elaborate on that, the 2014 World Team Championships, there was actually a pamphlet, like a little book, that talked about how the women of Japan come back to the table with a head nod, sort of, even after losing a point, they find a way to go, yes, okay, sort of a positive reinforcement thing to start the new point, pretty much every time. Oh, just stupendous, really. I mean, I'm watching that. She hits it soft and slow first, and then two big forehands to follow. Not much can be done against this.
Wang Manyu may want to try and play the backhand on the parallel because Mima Ito now is reading that cross court quite well. Trajectory was quite high, albeit though, from the world champions backhand. Laterally, just so quick. I mean, some of the most impressive multi-ball training footage I've ever seen of irregular footwork from wide to middle and middle to wide. Wang Manyu, for a tall player as well, to be able to get out the middle and play like that.
It's impressive. Serves with Mima-chan down by 2. Fast long serve to one corner and follows up to the other. It's not the first time we've seen her do this combination. Not mid-rally anyway, but here, straight out of the serve, really took some precision and surprise factor on that serve. Interestingly enough, a very similar serve to follow, but a strong receive this time around, Wang Manyu.
Deeper on the table there.
From Wang Manyu. Right back at the baseline. It's been very effective against Mima Ito in general, if you can spin it low and deep. It's like a flash of light. She's so fast. You talked about her pivot, her change. I mean, the backhand is what we talk about, but it's only setting it up. It's the forehand that finishes. A slapping shot, the Mima smash this time around. Catches the net. Now, it is a flatter shot, which means the ball has that greater risk of clipping the net on the way over. That spin is a little bit more secure. When people are just getting into table tennis and they think spin is unfair, it's crucial, it's instrumental. That's why the players are using it on nearly every shot. More spin on the first one there, but the second one sounded like she'd spun it a second time. Normally the Mima smash would work from that height.
That's an omiyage, as you call it, right?
Oh, omiyage?
Omiyage.
A souvenir for the Chinese player here in China.
Bit of a gift there.
Good pressure on the parallel. Mima-chan within 2 at the second towel break. Was able to get the second game. If she can get this game here, it would be her second game and a real chance for the women of Japan. I think it would lift the team morale. I mean, we saw that with the Japanese men.
Every shot Mima Ito played there was a parallel. Apart from the serve.
Spin deep on the table. Wang Manyu protecting and earning another point here.
That's great. That's well timed. The ability to take the ball after it's dropped to a lower level gives Wang Manyu that variation.
Nice length on that second ball, the third ball really of the rally, but the second ball from Mima Ito. Right into the middle, then gets the racket high to get on top and come down through. What a save from the backcourt here. Wang Manyu covers the middle.
I don't know how much of this is Wang Manyu's recovery and placement there has been too good. Mima Ito just not expecting the extra ball back.
It's interesting, in the replay we saw that it was actually fairly shallow on the table. Does seem like a ball that Mima-chan would be able to put away. A good exchange, low and fast. 2 points.
What a player does and where they position themselves after they play a shot can have quite an off-putting effect for the player on the other side of the table. When Mima Ito played that punch, she came in there as though she was going to try and counter and come over the top of the ball early, and perhaps that phased the world champion a little bit there.
Good pace on this one as well. Fast topspin, and now let's let the players talk to each other. Relationship's quite important for tough moments. Also, Hina Hayata's got some experience against Wang Manyu, being out here at this level. So back from the timeout, it's Wang Manyu with the 1-point lead and a second serve here. Well, now slows it down a little bit. I did hear a little bit from the Japanese corner about taking it slow when needed. If it's difficult, play a little more spin possibly. Goes inside out on that forehand. Very nice.
That time, she finishes off a point that she's constructed well. I've seen her miss it, but that time she stayed composed. She really had to.
So 9 points apiece now. Business end of game number 3. Back edge of the table, but she earns herself game point. I mean, the placement was excellent. The pattern, the combination, everything was right. Just a little fortune to go with it. Covered here on the receive. Wang Manyu making the most of this one.
She knew herself how good that flick had to be from where she takes it. Because if Mima-chan gets that backhand punching cross court, Wang Manyu would be scuppered. And she knows. She knows that was there for the taking. But the flick was clever because it was put into the middle of Mima Ito.
So here we go, deuce alternating serves now. After each point, they will switch serves until one player has a 2-point lead to take the game. Tight pencil in the serve, saves a game point and wins one to earn herself a game point here as well.
Seen so many float and topspin serves throughout this entire match, and at that moment there, Wang Manyu goes for a tight more backspin ball. And she celebrates it like she just played a third ball forehand counter. Satisfaction coming from the little adjustments.
And she takes the game. So here we are at game number 4. Women back at the table. Mima Ito of Japan with the serves trailing 1-2. Fired up as can be when the heat comes in. Wang Manyu is prepared to handle.
The ball that Mima Ito is not expecting back. Perhaps the mental block.
But not a physical one on the other side. Going for the punch. A little bit of a change. It's tough to time. Although we've seen her many times before. Maybe just the speed of that ball as well. Came back a little bit soft, a little bit slow and inside. You can feel the tension and the timeout now on Mima Ito's side. Hirano. But a much younger team this time around with one chopper here. That in Hitomi Sato, but a player who's been the star for Japan for the last several years, Mima Ito. That's the first point right out of the timeout. And there are several stars, to be fair, for the women of Japan, a very starring squad. But really the one that's taken the most big names off the Chinese roster, this one right here, Mima Ito.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hirano got up to 5 in the world and then dropped to outside the top 44, but had a good comeback tournament this season in Zagreb, actually beating Hayata in that tournament. Asumi Ishikawa has been so reliable against the majority of non-Chinese players for Japan. She's the rock, but Ito, the one who could beat the Chinese on a very regular basis. I mean, if you look at the list of Chinese players, she's beaten Xu Yuling, Ding Ning, beaten Wang Manyu before, Liu Shuwen and Xia Xia.
Interestingly enough, Kasumi Ishikawa, one of the last non-Chinese players to beat Chun Meng. Wang Manyu trying to gently relocate a flying friend. Just like she was at the start in the quick exchanges, Mima punch coming out. Change up on the start of the serve though, the placement. A little bit out to the forehand side, trying to test some new waters, new areas on the table.
Mima serves suit her game so well. You can tell she's putting so much thought. She wants the punch as early as possible. She wants the forehand flat hit as early as possible, which is why she serves with so much top spin and flow on a regular basis.
That whole section from China on their feet the moment she hit that ball. They can feel the pressure, but it's Mima who's chasing in this point. A little bit more defensive play. Doesn't miss by a lot, but that's a lot of ground to cover, especially when you get behind the table.
Riding the wave right now of the Chinese fans. That was like a tsunami the way she came over that ball.
Banana split comes out to play the under and side spin from Mima Ito, but Wang Manyu follows up quickly, a little net off the top. That one right there causes a lot of trouble. Only her, I guess, and Hina Hayata, the two that I see do that with any regularity, but not bothered Wang Manyu.
Oh, the words you can hear in Wang Manyu's expression. Every single ounce of muscle required there coming into that ball, and physically and mentally she's in prime position. Mima Ito serving for survival.
Well, so far so good in terms of the serve. Kick there. Still a long way to go, 4 points down. She's going to take it 1 point at a time. After After all, if Wang Manyu wins this game, that's 2-0 for Team China over Japan. Mima Ito wins this, we go to a decider in this match. Very solid opening, and the follow-up, there's not a lot of time. I think there was a statistic about Mima Ito when she was playing Ding Ming. The amount of reaction, her reaction time and the amount of time between shots, and Mima Ito is unlike any other in the world.
Wow.
Deep spin to the forehand side, and it's Wang Manyu to get back up by 4 for second tower break.
The more the rally goes on, the more you fancy the world champ. Looking back to the very first point of this match, Mima Ito made a winner with the punch off the serve of Wang Manyu, and we haven't seen it since.
Yeah, it was interesting. I remember saying, this is the type of thing we might see, but not quite so common. And it happened to be the first point of the match. Something like that.
Something like that.
After the blessing back on the follow-up finds the net. 9-4, a very memorable score here today. The security in these shots from Wang Manyu. Just a safer stroke. Hitting up the back of the ball here. Second serve for Mima-chan. Sixth game and match points for Wang Manyu to take the match and give China that 2-0 lead over Team Japan, the defending champions of 2018, the last World Team Championships, Team China. But not yet. One save by Mima Ito here. The heavy push. Still a long way to go.